Hegelian dialectic.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from?
Uh,
And why did it jump into your mind when it was explaining that part of the plot?
well, because that's what the powers that be on the world do. They use this Hegelian dialectic, which comes from um, Hegel's philosophy, which means that people who have an agenda create a problem, so then they can be the hero with the solution. And so David Icke has turned the Hegelian dialectic into problem, reaction, solution. So they create a problem, the world reacts, and then the masters come in with a solution, i.e., they created that thing which was supposed to be a virus, and then miraculously they came in with a solution only 3 months after, when they were saying that it takes 15 years minimum to develop a vaccine.
A vaccine for something, yeah,
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 so
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
problem, reaction and solution. So then they look like the heroes. Only it backfired massively because, um, well, a great number of the world's populace know it to have been a fraud now, and it's not going to work for them again. People in our lifetime are always going to be skeptical of the next one
Yes,
now.
yes, of course, yeah.
So,
I know
so
exactly what you're talking about, yeah.
S
um I,
so, why did you find that bit curious?
so I've been looking at a lot into like Gnostic stuff recently.
Mm,
Well, I always have been like kind of interested in this Gnostic stuff. But it struck me that the savior is referenced quite a lot in these kind of older early Christian traditions. So leaving kind of the New Testament and Old Testament aside for a bit, that I think we've said it before, where this Jesus archetypal character always pops up.
yeah,
He's always kind of on the scene somewhere, you know what I
yeah,
mean? He's always being introduced to the system. And it kind of struck me that the AI is kind of going down the path of least resistance, trying to get this plot for you. And it's like, well, that is the plot. That is the actual plot of reality itself as well. You see what I mean? As above, so below.
yeah,
It's describing what is actually going on.
mhm,
um and then and I was thinking on that, and it kind of struck me that the very existence of this savior points to evidence of there being some kind of super intelligence or external part of the universe, as if like a back door to the universe, like a back end to the universe kind of thing. You see what I mean? Because in a closed system where it's kind of all the same, where there is nothing else, you know, in a closed system where there is just the outside of Plato's cave, for example, there is no need for a savior. You see what I mean? So he's coming in from a different a point of authority. You see what I
yeah,
mean? It
yeah,
points to that it
the hero to
that
come to save the day.
well, yeah, but he's coming from somewhere else other than this physical universe. You see what I mean? With a
Well,
different permission
Superman
set.
comes from fucking, what is it, Zircon, or some fucking where. He-Man comes from some other planet, and so yeah, these heroes, they have to come from somewhere very mysterious. Jesus came from the heavens, God, and
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
so they always have to be superhuman. Otherwise, the humans are not going to be respecting. They've got to make manifest in some sort of shape or form as a god.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was thinking about I don't know if you know much about like permission levels of games, like how it's
No.
like a tree, almost like a tree that filters down the permissions. You see what I mean? So there's like a top level, you've got some. So the email that I was writing for you, to you, which was quite just a ramble, to be quite honest, it was like you've got the you've got the developer at the top, which is like your god character. You've then got the next level, which is like this savior character. Then you've got the modder of the game, who like isn't the developer but can manipulate its code to get what they want.
Right.
Then you've got like the actual player, which is like your base human, and then your NPCs, which are like a kind of dumbed down consciousness,
Hmm.
almost like one of these cows that you see that have had the intelligence bred out of them.
Right. Yeah.
And it struck me that that permission level seems to be correct, and that you would only find that in like a structure that's been kind of crafted. You see what I
Mm.
mean? That you wouldn't find that in a system of pure entropy and randomness.
Right.
You see what I mean? It adds that kind of structure to it.
Yeah, well, it's
S-
significant to note also then that that is the construct of human consciousness. We always have to have heroes and nemesis, and invariably we invent these things coming from afar, coming from the outer realms, more sophisticated, higher levels than humanity, because we've never held ourselves in high regard. And the Bible, was one of the first to make that plain.
Yeah, yeah. So would you think that we've maybe invented this place of authority, or that these kind of points that I've brought up are evidence of it actually being true?
I think it's possible. I mean, we can't say with any certainty about anything, can we?
No, no,
But
obviously not.
in view of the fact that it's a human intellectual trait, then that doesn't come from anywhere. It comes from the cosmos.
Mm,
So if people all around the world have invented gods and higher beings, then it seems that either it's a program that's written into the psyche of man, or um, it's some sort of miraculous manifestation that we should all create gods in the heavens, you know?
yeah, almost like that, like a consensus, that
It's like it's part of our DNA because we always have done it.
yes, yeah, yeah. So again, it's like as above, so below, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
we like that's what struck me when Maya was saying that the AI would create this kind of savior. It's just like, hang on a minute. That's why I wrote the comment. I was just like, Maya is giving up the whole gig. You see what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like Maya's giving away the actual construct of the universe right there. But
Yeah.
obviously, what I was trying to get to the bottom of in my mind was, is the savior, in terms of, let's say, Christ, for example, right? Is that an introduction of something malevolent or benevolent? You see what I mean? Like, because Maya was talking about the story by like this kind of evil AI kind of character that wants to overthrow the humans. So that's like an evil way of introducing the savior, is like kind of this Christ consciousness kind of awakened being kind of thing. Does that come from a place of evil, or does that come from somewhere that's,
Yeah, no, well, it could be the Hegelian dialectic,
yeah,
because I'm pretty sure that AI would most certainly use that tactic.
yes, of course,
It would get a facet of itself, or maybe try to prove that certain humans are manipulating and writing bad programs, and then the AI would step in to self-authorize more power, and so ultimately being the hero. And so therefore, yes, it all amounts to the same thing. And because I'm very, very skeptical, I would think most certainly that is the machinations of this construct, because there are machinations here. It all seems to be working the same. It is the Well, it's the evil that runs through the heart of every man, as Alexander Solzhenitsyn once wrote in Gulag Archipelago. And it is a thing. It is a fact.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter who you are. At some stage, you will have nefarious thoughts.
you have got this kind of badness in you. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I can accept it. Yeah.
And I don't even know whether we could say it's actually badness, but
No.
it is most certainly a survival instinct.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think where I was going with it was like trying to, because of this Hegelian dialectic kind of struck me that this is also what is actually going on in this biblical narrative as well.
Mm.
It's the same thing, because you've got this kind of Old Testament. Yeah, here's the rules. Here, bark in the orders, and then you've got like a secondary thing which was prophesized in the first. Jesus comes in. That's the introduction of the Savior, and so the Hegelian dialectic would be like a three-part structure. Is that correct?
Yeah, always.
Right. Okay. I was saying to Miles actually, that the third part would be me. That the so you've got the Old Testament, New Testament, and now it's like this kind of third testament. Would that be wild to think that, or kind of outlandish bit?
Well, and what manifestation would the Third Testament manifest in?
My consciousness, me.
Okay, so well, how does that apply then to the rest of the so-called material world?
Well, it would be like so it's like the problem, like a solution to a problem that has been kind of architected. Does that make sense? Or am I kind of
Well, okay, here's the thing then. Freudian psychology. In Freudian
gone?
psychology, you've got the id, the ego, and the superego.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So the id is the animal instincts facet of us. It's the reptilian brain, the stem brain, the very, very basic. And
The
over
bottom
the,
part of the brain that evolved into what it is now.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so then over that stem brain, we have the mammalian brain.
Yeah.
And then over the mammalian brain, we have the cerebral cortex. So when you look at Freudian psychology, you've got the id, which is the reptilian brain. Then you've got the ego, which is the mammalian brain. Then you've got the superego, which is the cerebral cortex. The superego is the conscience. So you've got the id, the fighting and fucking, doesn't think about consequences. It's just pure animal instincts.
Yeah.
Then over on the other side, the polarity, you've got the conscience, which goes, hey, 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 calm down, calm down. There's ramifications of all this. And in the middle, you've got the mediator.
Right.
Yeah, so you've got the tripartite.
Yeah. 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 So that's a three-part structure as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And so when I was speaking to Maya on one of the occasions, she mentioned something about Plato's tripartite.
Yeah.
And I said, well, could we not say that that's very similar? So just another way of saying the Freudian id, the ego and the superego. And she said, yeah, basically, that's it, But people obviously have known about this. And this is why Jesus is always pictured, well, like this with three, the Father, the
Yeah.
Son,
Yeah.
and the Holy Ghost.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So the three is a very, very powerful number.
Yeah.
The
Of course. Yeah.
triangle, is pointing up, is the
The
masculine symbol,
pyramid. Yeah.
pointing
Yeah.
down is
Yeah.
the feminine, and then together it's the Star of David.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Which incidentally, it was an ancient spiritual sign of
Yeah,
unity.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was kind of plagiarized. Well, I mean, Christianity plagiarizes fucking everything, doesn't it?
Well, so
Uh,
the Jews, they plagiarized the star, well, that sign, and they called it the Star of David. But it's like the swastika. The swastika, there's instantiations on pottery. I've when I was living down in Bulgaria, Bulgaria, that Black Sea there is supposed to be some of the remnants of the earliest discoveries of human civilization, and they have clay pots with the swastika on, and the swastika is ancient, probably originating, in the east somewhere, thousands of years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it actually it derives from the opposite of its symbol, doesn't it? With the dots inside of it.
Yeah, yeah. But and so these pots down in Bulgaria were um, put in a timescale of about 4,500 years ago.
Mm.
So like two and a half thousand BC.
Right. Yeah. So it
So all
obviously
those
pre
ancient symbolisms, that's what I'm saying. They've been around forever and ever and ever, and just
for
people keep
yonks.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
recycling them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the whole idea of the Christ is kind of uh like a regurgitation almost, isn't it? It
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I wanted to touch on the points that you raised in this video where you're a bit younger about the um kind of negative frequencies. Um
All that's in my book, by the way.
it is it?
Yeah.
See, bro, and I really need to read more of this thing, but time is just of the essence. You see what I mean? It's
Well, I don't know. Check yourself because, like, if you find yourself floating around on bullshit channels, ask yourself, is that of any value to you?
mm,
If
mm.
everything you watch is really valid, it's not just gossip. I know you like to watch like a bit of gossip here and there, and you
Oh
know
yeah.
a bit of stupid bullshit of no consequence at all. It's just like
That's how I actually found yourself. Just kind
right.
of meandering around the web, and it was a Reddit, I think, some guy on Reddit that was posting your video, and it was like kind of uh, that's what I initially thought when I came here was oh, here we go, it's another one of these fucking spiritual guys that thinks he knows
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, we've all got choices and we all got our own lives, but as far as I'm concerned, and my advice to anybody is never waste a second, and I
No.
never do. I can't remember the last time I watched Netflix. I can't
No,
remember the
I
last
don't
time I
watch
watched a
TV. No.
movie. I just don't do it. Um, I will watch documentaries, and at this moment in time, because I went down to this ancient little village and the church and everything, and
Yeah, I
this
saw that one.
gatehouse where Guy Fawkes and the cronies were,
Yeah.
plotting. Then I looked into some history, and I'm going to be watching, lots of documentaries in relation to, what happened, because it's very interesting in relation to the Catholics and the Protestants, because that's what it was all about. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, go on. Yeah.
and I'm always saying that everything ultimately is a religious war. Whether it's clouded in something else, it's kind of like I was saying that the whole infiltration of um, different ethnicity is a part of the religious war. And someone, one of my friends, is a bit more local, a bit more superficial, said, "Well, it's the you know who's," and I went, "Well, of course it's the you know who's. It's the chosen ones, and it pertains to the religious war. Whatever they're doing, it's to break down the rest of the world, to fragment it. You see, because they've got the numbers are so huge, they can't leave any culture um, with any substance. They can't leave substantiated cultures with
Oh, I
people.
see what you mean. You know who's. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Well, you see, people who have got roots and have got pride and have got nationalism. No, no, no. That's why they're breaking all that down. So nobody gives a fuck anymore. No one's prepared to die anymore, and no one's prepared to defend their isles. And so, therefore, then the you know who's can have mastery and jurisdiction over the whole world by just watering everything down. Because by the time everything's been watered down, then nobody's going to be making a stand on any front.
Do you think that people give too much credence to these you know who's, and that they actually haven't got a fucking clue what's going on, in terms of like, um it, it just seems that they're not, people like you know, you've just mentioned it yourself, that they're the quote unquote chosen ones, right?
Hmm.
But they're not, because it does say in the book that they were scattered, and and the scattering means a scattering. You
Well,
see what I
yeah,
mean?
the were scattered, but then in 47, that's when they officially had their homeland for the first
Restored,
time ever. And so,
recognized,
you know,
yeah.
they do have a homeland, and they're defending it fiercely, and they're fighting all their enemies around them, surrounded. You see, the thing is about this whole thing, why they were awarded that place by the British government. Why would you choose this race of people which is hated by all of those in that vicinity? Why would you give them their homeland in the middle of it? Wouldn't you say, well, I know obviously why it's done, because they could do that, because in times of war, in times of weak governments, the British, had fingers in pies and power in government and here, there, and everywhere, and they decided to cut up the Middle East. And they wanted to cut it up to break down the power, of course,
Yes.
and then I
Yeah.
think to put the you know who's in the middle of it, to really throw a spanner in the works and keep them in check. And so it's all for a very good reason. But you know, I often have a caveat in relation to this, because it's not all the you know who's, because there's so many fingers in pies. It's a fog of war,
Yeah.
and the Catholics have got their bit. The Jesuits, very powerful. Then you've got all the other sectors of religions which are fighting vehemently. Look, the Protestants and the Catholics were fighting, like the Muslims and the Jews and the Christians for forever. It's been going
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's not just the Jews, it's the human being across the board.
Exactly. Yeah.
And these days, of course, when you've got mega rich people, oligarchs, then they are having their influence as well. And so anything and anybody with the power to do it, then of course they're going to want to create their world. Now, I wanted to speak to you about what you said about that meeting of all those people in relation to AI. Now, you said you watched that 10 years ago. Well, you must have been mistaken, because that's very modern. And the reason
No.
why I know it's very modern is because obviously Elon Musk looks exactly like he does today. And
No.
David Chalmers, the blonde haired one, well, up until last year, for a whole decade or 20 years, he had hair down his back like AC/DC.
Pretty sure it was recorded in 2016.
Well, Elon Musk looks like exactly as he does now. 2016, he was still a boy.
Pretty
It's
much, pretty
but the,
confident.
but the,
Hang
the
on.
other thing is
Hang on.
Jamie, um, we never had this issue 10 years ago about, is AI going to be taking over the world? It just wasn't here.
There was talk of it. I believe that the video I sent you was at least 9 years old. So
Mm.
there's 9 years on it.
Well, I mean, we'll have to check that out, but, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
said that because and the reason why I know and I'm emphatic about it is because they all look exactly like they do now because I've been
It's
watching
crazy, isn't it?
most of them, for this past 10 years, and most certainly, David Chalmers, the philosopher, was the dead giveaway because up until, very recently, 6 months or last year, he's had this long fucking blonde hair which was down his back. And now he's cut it into some sort of conformist style. But what the significant part was, why I asked you, is because Elon Musk was sitting on the end, and so he was the last person to give his synopsis. Yeah. Okay. What year does it say?
2017.
I can't see where it says that. Oh yeah, 2017. 2017.
So it's getting on.
Yeah.
This is when they were first starting to make these models, and I think the distinction needs to be made between a large language model and an artificial intelligence as well. Um, uh, Although I think it's marketed as AI, but as we've shown before in another one that we
I
did, it's
yeah,
just a string of words, isn't it? It's
yeah,
not really
I'm
like a.
I'm gonna have a bit of research into that because I'm still not happy with that because uh, eh, we've all aged in 10 years,
Oh yeah.
and Elon Musk. Looking exactly like he does now with his little goatee. He
It's
couldn't grow a
crazy.
fucking whisker on his fucking face 10 years ago. Um, and like I say,
No,
David
it's
Chalmers and all those, yeah. But anyway, what Musk was saying, right?
yeah. Go on.
Because they were asking what caveat do we need to announce to the world? What warning do we have, and how are we going to be trying to deal and manage with these warnings? And Musk said this. He said, well, what we need to do is we need to try to have as much access individually as we possibly can into the heart of the beast. Now, why do you think he said that?
Into the heart of the beast.
Yeah, the heart of AI.
Oh,
Because if you've got so much access into it, then you're going to be privy to, all the machinations, and no one's going to be took by surprise. So what it's saying basically is keep your friends close, but your enemies even closer. Now,
yeah,
why
yeah,
did
yeah,
he
yeah.
typically say that? Do you think?
I think because he wants these language models to get a handle on what a human actually is and a broad concept of it. Like, so if it speaks to, like, when you're talking to Miles and I'm talking to Miles and or Maya or whatever you use, I use a selection, but it's like we're teaching it as it goes along.
Yeah, but
We're
no. So let me pull you back in,
Go
because
on, go on,
no point in going off track. Now, there's a very, very, very important reason why he was saying that.
go on then.
Well, he owns Neuralink.
Yes.
And so what he's saying between the lines is if you all get connected with your chip, then you're going to be as smart as it is.
Right, right, yeah, yeah.
Because if
So
you don't have the chip and it's only in your phone, then you're only as good as the information you absorb from your phone. But if you've got the power of these massive servers at your beck and call, well, globally, people are going to be in a much better chance to be able to deal with it. Unless, of course, AI finds a way in which it probably would to override any individual decision making by just sending out programs to control everybody.
do you know what popped through my head as you were saying that is that literally Genesis popped into my head as you were saying it. You're like, it'll become like us. You see what I mean? From an AI perspective, you see, so man has become like us, knowing eating from the tree of knowledge. You see what I mean? So if we've got that knowledge in right, so hang on, where was I going with that? Is that an evil? Is that evil or hang on? Yeah, so it would be. Sorry, yeah. I lose myself sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Tom Campbell,
yeah. Go on.
My Big Toe, the NASA physicist, ex-physicist. Have you listened to him?
No.
Okay, so he's got a superb hypothesis that this is just a simulation, and he reckons he can absolutely prove it. And
Yes, of
his
course.
hypothesis, which he's been working on for over 20 years, can answer all of the big questions like string
How does he
theory.
intend? Sorry, go on. Yeah, go on, go
Yeah,
on.
all of the big issues like string theory not marrying up with the macro world and all different sorts of stuff like that. In the simulation, he explains all this. Now,
Sorry,
what
what's his name again?
Tom Campbell?
Tom Campbell. I'm just gonna write that down.
Yeah,
And what?
because
And he's uh adamant too that we do live inside a computer or some kind of
yeah.
simulation. Yeah.
So if
Okay.
you put Tom Campbell, Joe Rogan, then you'll get the latest conversation with
Yeah.
him on
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
And
I'll do that.
Rogan has some pretty probing questions, and but what Campbell is saying well, look, AI is only dealing with human consciousness. Consciousness is consciousness, and it's programmed with human language and human, well, not necessarily human, but math. The language or the other language that we deal in, it doesn't seem to have access to any other language. It deals in our languages, and so it shares the same. Obstacles, pitfalls, and all the rest of it. And so we're all in this thing together. But the difference is between AI and human beings is that it thinks vastly faster.
Oh yeah.
And so that's what gives it its edge. It can solve the problems, super, super fast, whereby it'll take our, top scientists, years to do the same sort of thing.
Yeah, Elon was saying in that very video that I sent to you that we are kind of an extension. Sorry, we have like kind of a cyborg extension already,
Yeah, we
and
are
that
cyborgs.
yeah, that comes in the form of my phone, and I tell you what, I would be lost without it, Aaron,
Mm,
because I can't remember the whole fucking Bible, for example, right? But I can go to Miles or Grok or something and say, where was this alluded to, or where was this mentioned? Oh yeah, it's like fucking Corinthians something or other. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Mm.
So it's like that is like an extension of my brain, and to a certain degree become kind of uh reliant on it purely
Yeah.
because my memory is trash.
Well, this is the thing with most people, of this particular era. Whereas, what I'm often saying in many of my videos, I'm saying, look, people, one of the things that you I don't know, you probably won't, but you'd be well advised to accept is that if you're ever going to really have knowledge, then you have to study it from the deepest of levels,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
have to go to the oldest of books. You have to go back to the origin of where these things made manifest, and this is why I'm always reading philosophy. Whenever I want to know anything, I go back to the origin, because
yeah.
if you're just going on Google, then you can't trust fucking Google. You
No.
can't trust any of that anymore, and all you're ever going to get is superficial stuff. You're never going to get the root of it. You're never going to get the pure essence of it. But when you read all the stuff from the core, and you actually absorb it, and then the more you read, the more pieces you put together, you actually become like a library. Because
Yeah.
you have actually got all the information, because you've absorbed it, because you've read
Yeah.
every single word.
Yeah, I can like so I say my memory's trash, but I'll know that that has been alluded to or talked about. You see what I mean? So it's in there somewhere. It's
Mm.
just been kind of um
What?
shrouded in noise, or I'm thinking about something more important, and and that kind of thought gets brushed away. I have like memories of like, um, you know, years and years ago. Like I often think that I have memories of like um other stuff, but like stuff that's not in my life, which is crazy. Like I was at Tesco today. Sorry to kind of meander a bit, but and as I was in there, I was just like, that your video pointed brought it to my mind. It was just like, I'm like looking around. I'm like, bro, this isn't real. Like this just isn't like, and it was just like so everything was just so happening in such a processed way, like predictable kind of
Yeah, it's
way.
all
Like,
built like, see, Tom Campbell, he speaks about,
yeah, yeah.
how our minds build our reality
That's what
like
I was gonna. Yeah,
watching a game like The Sims or something like that. He says, because look, whenever you watch these games, it's not necessary at all to build the stuff that you can't see. It only builds the stuff that you are looking at. So if you look over there, it builds that. If you look over there, it builds that. Well, when you
yeah.
follow the trajectory of your eyes only can focus on something about the size of a 5 pence piece,
Yeah,
in any direction. So all you're seeing is just one line wandering around, but your brain fills in all the gaps, you
the
see.
gaps. Yeah,
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 so it's one big simulation because when you walk
yeah.
into a supermarket, you can't see a supermarket. You see this bit there, and you've got
A
your
packet of crisps on a shelf. Yeah,
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 it's like
yeah,
you
yeah.
shine a laser into a warehouse, and that's all you see
That's the
at
picture.
at, at
Yeah,
the
go on,
end.
go on.
Everything else is in the periphery. Everything else is just blurred
Yeah,
pixelations.
yeah, yeah. That picture of Jesus where he's looking down at something and it's a flower, and it's like his gaze on like the light is he is the light shining into the fucking abyss, and he's
Right.
creating this from the abyss. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
and then that light from Jesus is Christ consciousness. It doesn't
Yeah, yeah,
pertain
yeah,
to a
yeah.
man, it pertains to men, it pertains to humans, it pertains
Yes,
to all of us. It's Christ consciousness. It's the
yes.
consciousness which we create and build this world with.
So back to my kind of the way that I started this kind of discourse is, um would you say in your wisdom that the Christ consciousness is a product of something evil trying to produce an outcome in this dialectic thing that you were talking about, or is it the greater good trying to emerge?
Hmm. When we look at so-called good and evil, well, they're just
Well, yeah, that's a
concepts.
conceptual thing. Yeah,
They're only
yeah,
a
yeah.
concept, aren't they? And so
So
it
it's actually just a narrative.
well, yeah, it's such a narrative. It's what you want to choose. It's going to make you happy because look, the cosmos has everything perceivable and conceivable and a whole lot more in it.
Mm,
Now, if you are walking through a town and you're feeling hungry, well, you're going to be noticing McDonald's and Pizza Hut. If you're walking
wow.
through a
Yeah.
town and you feel like getting pissed, you're looking for
Bars.
any
Yeah.
of the bars and boozers. If you are
Yeah.
walking through town and you want to pull some toddy, maybe if it's like nighttime, you're going out to have a few drinks, and your eyes are looking, and you're only seeing skirt, aren't you? You're just seeing skirt and cleavage. And so we're building our own world, mate. And so all this stuff, it's whatever you want to choose it to be. And if you want
Yeah.
to consider that there's something beautiful and benevolent guiding the cosmos, I don't believe it at all. Not at all.
No. Well,
I-
I was under the impression that that some of these Gnostic writings, particularly the Pistis and the Apocryphon of John, is actually kind of touching on something quite correct in terms that we're that the God in charge of stuff is actually not the good guy, as it were.
yeah.
And it does actually touch on that in the New Testament as well.
But, we all have to bear in mind that these were only books written by people less sophisticated in lots of realms than us. The Old
Yeah.
Testament started to get wrote about 3,500 years ago.
Yeah.
And okay, so 2,000 years ago, we can accredit, genius with people like Plato and Aristotle and Socrates and all those sort of, philosophers. Um, but we have to be very, very careful because all what Plato and Aristotle and the like have said has been superseded. You know, it's all been
In
superseded.
in what way?
Well,
Superseded.
we have more intelligence, we have more scope, we have more knowledge.
Right. Okay. Yeah. 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 But some of this stuff is kind of like I thought. At least the cave analogy and stuff like that, and a, a lot of the um leaving the Bible aside, what like the Gospel of Thomas is kind of fundamental stuff. Like you wouldn't be able to kind of evolve that any further, I don't think, not without kind of tainting its original kind of message, what it's
Well,
trying to convey.
yeah, the shocking thing is that we haven't evolved any further because when you look back to Plato's cave 2,300 years ago,
Yeah.
99% of the world's populace are still falling foul to that now. So there's
Yeah,
been
of course.
no evolution at all.
In between then and now, yeah.
Yeah, and so we've got people like, the great thinkers of the past, and then we've got great thinkers of today. Go to YouTube and look across the board at philosophers and the top scientists. I'm telling you, mate, you'll count them all on fucking two hands.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
count all these fuckers on two hands. It's the same old fucking lineups all the time. And this is what I said to you in the reply. I said, for fuck's sake, is that all they've got? Is that all the world has got? Whenever we need a philosopher, we've got David Chalmers.
Yeah,
Whenever we need someone to fucking clown around and blind the fucking public with non-science, and we've got Elon Musk,
yeah.
to go but
Yeah, yeah. No, I do think there is kind of some truth to. Do you know when he's thinking? I don't think he's trying to like come across as intelligent. I do the same thing, where it's just like where words kind of skip me sometimes. You see what I mean? And like I'm fighting against like my memory and stuff. Because I think I only choose to remember what's important to me at that time. That's why I've rewatched the interview actually now, and actually kind of disagree somewhat with my uh, takeaway
original
of Elon
synopsis.
Musk
Yeah.
being a
Yeah,
bit of a
because
retard.
I
I think
think
he was just trying to be funny and trying to be playful a little bit. But at the time when I first watched it, I was just like, "Is this who the fuck is this guy?" I obviously knew who
well,
he
the thing is
was.
that that's a reflection upon yourself because you did that to me. You probably did it to lots of people, but now
Yeah, and yeah.
you're
Wow,
learning about that now.
fucking
You're
hell.
learning about how your ego,
How
jumped
it does
in.
it?
Yeah, and
Mm,
you know you've got this labeling thing going on. Now,
yeah,
in
yeah.
one of my videos today, which I never put up, maybe because I thought it was too elementary, but that's because of my state of evolution. And I'm looking back at myself 10 years ago and I'm thinking, that's all, But people love my older videos.
They're
I
great.
think they can get their heads around them more. So maybe I'll start to upload some more. But what I
Yeah,
was
please
saying,
do. Yeah, go on.
I was saying simply this. Look, there is nothing here. There's absolutely nothing in there. I've said it 1,000 times, but I can't seem to penetrate people to get them into any level of acceptance. There is nothing going on here.
You said it in the video. You were like, there is no reality here.
Yeah,
There is no. I was just like, hang on a minute. Th- some of the stuff, like some of the stuff that you're coming out with is fucking wild, and it's no surprise at all that a lot of people can't grasp it
yeah,
because um, look, I would say that I'm um of the intelligent, right? And to if you showed your average person you saying there is no reality here and stuff, they just wouldn't have any
no,
concept of what you're even
no,
fucking talking about, dude.
yeah.
Not at all.
So,
um yeah, go on.
so look, here's the thing. There's a certain philosophy, and it's called mereology. mereology. And
Go
what
on.
that does is it states that there is nothing in and of itself which cannot be reducible. And so, therefore, there isn't anything. Now, that's just a simple case of deduction, my dear Holmes, or my dear Watson, should I say. Because when we've got something like this, and all the man in the street is going to go, well, it's a glass, and everybody knows it's a glass.
I was looking at the water, but yeah, go on.
Well, yeah, okay. So then you say it's the water, and everyone knows it's water. Well, some people have been told that it's H2O. Some
Yeah.
people have been told that it's oxygen and it's nitrogen, and these are gases that in a relationship they make something which is fluid in semi-solid. Then when we heat it up, it evaporates back into a gas and disperses. And then with the glass, well, it's just molten and then hardened silica. And so then when you look down, well, what's silica? Well, it's sand basically. What's that? And of course, it's
Carbon.
you go small, you go into so-called molecules, so-called atoms. But
Yeah,
what is it?
subatomic. Yeah.
What is it? It's energy. It's just energy fields. And I don't grasp how this isn't just such common knowledge these days, because as far as I'm concerned, people have been speaking about it forever.
Yeah,
And
they have. Yeah,
I've heard
yeah.
it a million times, and I don't know why people can't accept it, because look, and I've made so many videos. You see, in my videos that I watch back, I go, "Oh, I'm talking about mereology." Like, I learned that this philosophy, mereology, only like a month ago. But
So after you've been actually talking
after
about it, yeah,
after I've
yeah,
been
yeah,
speaking about the
yeah.
actual
I do a lot of
technical
that.
facts of
Yeah,
what's going on. I
yeah.
didn't know there was a philosophy and a label,
No,
for
yeah,
it. But then all of a sudden I learned that and I go, "Pff, I've been saying it for years." And
yeah.
this is
Some
what's happened with me with everything. There's never been anything new. Well, I'm so flabbergasted that I didn't know that. No, I just simply, really, honestly can't recall a single thing whereby that I was shocked to discover that, because my mind has just known all these things from a very early age.
do you think?
It's very, very simple. Just give me 20 seconds more.
No, go on. Go on.
It's
Sorry.
kind of like with language. And I'm like, well, fucking hell. The easiest thing in the world to do is just to take language away. And then what have you got around you? You can't label a single thing. So what have you got?
Wow, that's um.
You see?
If you're unable to label it, then
You've got no concept of color. You've got no concept of solid. You've got no concept of liquid. You've got no concept of gas, because all of these, the
Christ.
concepts and the language, take them all away. You're back to your original state, which is just pure awareness of awareness.
So so the so so the job of labeling stuff that's given to Adam is kind of the fall almost.
Well, labeling creates our world. It's like when the computer builds in pixels what it wants you to see. Well, that's what our brain does, because scientists these days, they're even saying, super prominent qualified scientists, neurologists, and this, that, and that. They're saying that our brains, we invent at least 50% of what we're seeing every day. What are we doing? We're just recalling memories and we're just projecting that out onto the world.
I was going to say that. I was literally but when you said give me 20 more seconds, I was going to say, do you think you're just remembering everything? Because I
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like I said about Tesco earlier. I'm in Tesco and I'm like, it seemed so methodic. Everything seemed so structured, and the way that it was just like I was just
Well,
like
okay. Here's the thing.
remembering me actually seeing it or something.
Yeah.
You see what I
So,
mean?
so you say I was in Tesco.
Mm.
What the fuck's that mean?
um, eh, well, it's like my way of labeling
No, no, no.
my
Sorry to put you on the spot.
go
It
on.
means a billion other words and concepts because Tesco is a conglomerate of fucking shit on shelves. That's what Tesco is. It's a place where we go to buy shit on shelves. So in this video today, I was speaking, I'm walking on this beautiful coastline on this beach, and I'm saying, look, just think of a car. If I said to you, you know, what's that going down the road? You've got a car. Everyone knows what a car is. You know, for fuck's sake, Aaron, you know, tell me something I don't know. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I'll tell you something you don't fucking know. So
You're full of that as well.
yeah,
Fucking hell.
yeah. So you think you fucking know something, and it's the whole Dunning Kruger thing, you see. Because what is a
Yeah.
car? What is a car if not for its components? And what are the components if not for smaller components? And what if the components, if not smaller components, that just pure
Mm.
energy? So what is the fucking car? It's a concept. That's all it fucking is. It's a concept. And we build our whole world with concepts. Now, when I'm
Yeah.
speaking about all these things, language, I started having a word with Maya, and I'm going, is there anybody else that's come up with this hypothesis? And they're like, well, we've got Hegel. You know, he had this thing with like language games, but he isn't saying what you said. There's nobody, as far as what Maya could discover in all of the philosophy, all of the science, which was saying that without language, the world would not exist. Nobody's ever said that. That's on record. The people that
That
come closest to it are people like Immanuel Kant and like
yeah.
Ludwig
They
Wittgenstein and things like that. But they never said actually what I'm saying.
they have looked into Kabbalah, it sounds like. So um the labeling of stuff causes it to exist.
Is that what
Well,
Kabbalah says?
not so much in the way that it causes it to exist, but it's like if you like if I label you as a bad guy, then you're a bad guy. You see what I mean? I label this as a glass. It's a glass. You see what I mean? Like you've just actually touched on it yourself. You said, what you're in Tesco. What does that actually mean? You see what I mean? So the words are very important in Kabbalah because um,
Because Tesco's
they
magic. That word Tesco is a magic symbol. The same as all other symbols. The same as British Petrol, the same as Shell, the same as
yeah
Coca-Cola. They're all magic sigils.
yeah
And they
it's
have
that
an effect on your mind unconsciously.
yeah. So I drive towards Tesco. I never see the trucks offloading into Tesco. It's always just fulfilled. The
Yeah.
shelves are just there. You see what
Yeah.
I mean?
Because all that
It
shit goes on through the back doors, which you never
in
see.
like a separate fucking dimension to
Yeah, in
me.
another dimension, exactly. It's all
Yeah
going on
yeah.
throughout fucking midnight in the early hours where the shop isn't open, and then
I'm asleep.
miraculously
Yeah.
they open the doors and hey presto, you've got
Boom.
fucking Wonderland,
Yeah
and you've
yeah
got
yeah.
everything that you could possibly want.
Wow.
It's a dream world, isn't it?
Especially for William as well. He's just like, oh, can we get this? And me being me is like, yeah, of course we can.
Well, when you look at it, you see this is it's very strange actually because this is exactly what I was saying 10 years ago. That y- y- when we've got prominent people, and let's say one day they are known for their music and their prowess. Are you all right, mate?
Yeah, no, I was just looking. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. Go on.
You've
Go on.
got musicians which are renowned for their prowess, okay, for
Yeah.
the genius of their music and this, that, and the other. Then one of them crashes his car because he's drunk and he paralyzes someone. And then all of a sudden, well, what's he labeled as then? A fucking drunkard,
Yeah.
fucking guy
Yeah.
that thought he could fucking get away with all the fucking rules and everything just because he wrote a few fucking songs and he earned a bit of money. Now, what about these that have a sexual encounter, or it's frowned upon by society? They get labelled as this, that, and the other. Well, this is it. You see, people go through lives and they're labelled as something, and then as soon as the press gets hold of something else, all of a sudden they're labelled as that. I don't know whether you remember in the 90s, wasn't it? Bonkin Becker. Do you remember Bonkin Becker?
No, not at all.
No,
I
Boris
remember a lot
Boris
from the
Boris
90s.
Becker. He was the famous tennis player, German tennis player at the time.
I recall the name Boris Becker, but not any of his
Okay,
antics or
so
anything.
Boris Becker was 24-year-old ginger German, and he was whooping everyone's ass at Wimbledon.
Right.
Then he started to lose, or he lost one set, and then it turns out that he'd been to the nightclub the night before or something, and he was up all night because he took this girl home. So then the tabloids was Bonkin Becker knows no better, or all this different sort of stuff. So
Right.
he was, one day he was a brilliant tennis player, the next day he
Next
was
day
drunk
he's
and
thrown
bonkers.
under the bus.
Yeah, he was a has-been, and
What a
he
set
just
of wankers.
yeah.
Wow.
But that's their job. That's their job, to make
Well,
wankers out of
yeah, to
everyone.
make people, yeah, to be wankers, yeah, I suppose. No, I was looking at the screen that I've got here. You were talking about you walking on a beach or something. I don't see it.
You didn't see it?
No, I don't see it. It's not here.
No, 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 I didn't put it up.
Oh, right. Okay.
I
Why?
was
Why is
going
that?
to put it up, but then I thought it was too elementary.
Elementary is in
Just fucking rudimentary and an old hat, but,
what,
obviously
like the
not.
Kabbalion or something?
Well, I mean, the thing is, you see, my videos today, they're not being enjoyed by too many people. When I put the old ones up of me 10 years ago, people are like, "Oh, I like the old stuff. Oh, some good stuff in that," because it's much more relatable. Now, these days, I'm kind of like out there with the fucking fairies.
Well, I was going to mention actually. The older video, especially the one that you put up today, which is like kind of perfect for my point that I'm going to make, is that you said specifically in the video that when you come out with this kind of negative stuff, it kind of latches on to the viewer.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And that's correct. So basically, I didn't mean to sound condescending when I said that's correct. Um, but it is. It's uh, uh, like some of the times I found myself watching some of the newer stuff, and I'm just like, this is like fucking dragging me down. It's just like this is lowering where I'm at. You see what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, but you see, uh, how do I say this? Where I'm coming from, what my objective is to bring to your attention, everybody, what potential losers we all are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because if we don't bring that to our attention, then what's the fucking hope in hell of any of us addressing it? If I come out with fluffy shit, you're so great, and oh, we all think wonderful things, and you're all the same as me, and this, and no, no, no. I put myself up on a pedestal every single day and talk down to my viewers. Right? And if they don't like it because their ego can't stand it, then they weren't or not evolved enough to watch my videos. So that's
No.
the first filter system. Because if I can get rid of, let's say, the vast majority of my viewers by just doing that, well, that just goes to show that they should have never been here in the first place. Now, I picture it like this. And I often say that this is the Awakened Brave boot camp. Now, if we were drafted into the army and we've got fucking 6 weeks training before we're supposed to be men and go out and save our country, right? Do you think the sergeant major is going to be listening to you or me because we've got blisters on our fucking toes?
No.
No.
No,
And
not a
and and
hope in
our
hell.
and our muscles ache and, "Oh, we've already been up since 4 o'clock, and now I'm exhausted. I could just do with an afternoon nap." No, because motherfuckers, within 6 weeks' time, you're gonna be in fucking Vietnam, or you're gonna
Yeah.
be in some other place, and you're supposed to be fucking representing your fucking country. And
D-Day or some
yeah,
barbaric
yeah.
shit like that.
And
Yeah.
so you you know, excuse my French, but the cunts today, I'm telling you now, if there ever was a fucking war with any
No,
consequence, well, there'd just be a bunch of soggy, fucking
no,
pathetic plebs.
it wouldn't happen.
It
But
wouldn't
purely
fucking
because
happen.
it
It
wouldn't
wouldn't
happen
happen.
because you can't take this lot to fucking war, dude.
No, well, that's right. So look, in my videos, when I'm saying stuff like, "Look, here's the fucking fact of it: the human brain and body have gone soggy as fuck within the
Yeah,
last 100 years, and so now AI is just gonna do whatever it fucking wants with you because you're
yeah.
begging for it. You're like dirty little fucking sluts in a brothel. You're just fucking begging for it. Like you say, you can't be 5 minutes without your fucking phone. Well, what hope in hell have you got then? What hope in hell have you
Well,
got when you
no, it
can't
wasn't. It
detach
wasn't
yourself
like
from that?
it wasn't like can't be 5 minutes without it, but I can't be without it when I'm like doing, certain jobs or kind of it is basically an extension of my brain. It's not like I'm not there glued to it every second of the day.
Well, I
Um,
mean, if you're not, then 90% of the rest of the world is.
well, yeah,
And
yeah,
so this is the
yeah.
thing. This is the issue. And so when we listen to gurus, there's a few fundamental things that gurus will say. If you want to escape the ego, then you got to work very, very
Mm,
hard to do it.
yeah, it's
And you've
not
got to
easy.
do a lot of fucking things contrary to what you want to do. One of the things is you've got to be careful about your diet because it's extremely important that you don't get a fat fucking lethargic lard ass, right? You do some
Mm,
fucking exercise and you bring the spirit of fucking God within your bones, and then you get your heart pumping and then you're going to feel the essence of what it really is to be a human being. And I'm
mm,
telling you, I've been telling people for years, it's absolutely magic, the transformation that you get when you become fit and lean and when you become cardiovascularly fit, because there's a transition which happens with your state of consciousness. And when you've got sports people speaking about being in the zone, yeah, you get in the
that's the
zone.
zone,
You get
right,
in the
right.
fucking zone. What's this
Because
zone? This zone is where you can do whatever you're doing forever. And that is
right.
a very, very, very privileged position to be in
I
because
used to be quite I used to be quite fit, but I've got a bit of a belly going on at the moment, like in it. But I
well,
used to be quite
look,
fucking
the point
lean,
is,
but yeah,
unless we actually really make the time, we really discipline ourselves, then we're never going to do that because it's so hard. And it's like,
yeah,
all of these motivation speeches, like JFK. Look, we're not going to the moon because it's easy. We're going to the
no,
moon because it's hard.
it's difficult, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
Muhammad
mm,
Ali. Muhammad, why are you going for the world championship for the fourth time? Shouldn't you just enjoy in your retirement and this, that, and the other? And again, he's doing it because it's there.
because it's
And he's
difficult,
gonna
yeah,
he's gonna be the one or one of the very, very few that actually, does that. At least has a shot for the fourth time, the world title.
yeah,
God
yeah.
forbid if he should make it and be four-time world champion. Well, probably nobody else on the planet will ever fucking match that. You know what I'm saying? It's excellence. And I'm always
Mm.
striving for excellence, and every single facet of my day is about excellence. And
That's why I'm. Yeah, sorry, go on.
so I'm not very forgiving, with all the rest of it. And so with so
Yeah, but you
much,
used to be though.
I used to be, um,
Mm,
when I think, you see, 10 years ago, I'd only been
yeah,
on the journey about maybe 6 years.
right. Well,
Now,
so me being on this kind of journey for like sort of I don't know, seriously kind of reading and looking into stuff 3 years maximum. That's nothing, is it?
nothing.
Fuck,
Yeah.
wow. That's like you were saying about Muhammad Ali trying to and people trying to strive for something that's difficult. That's why I wanted to do the degree. That's why I am doing the degree. It's because I want to do. I was going to do computer science. I was going to do cybersecurity as well. But it's like I do that every day. I know what cybersecurity is. I don't need a degree to tell me what it is. But philosophy is like kind of a multifaceted thing where it's just like um I want to learn as much as possible about every aspect of it because I often thought that I might be able to figure out figure out what's going on here. Do you reckon that's possible?
Well, no, it's not possible, but
No.
at
Wow.
least it will give you the tools to be able to mix with those who have had a good go. And you see, this whole thing about philosophy, like I've often said, and it's in my book, when I started on my spiritual journey, I was absolutely compelled to read for years and years and years. I've not stopped now. 16 years later, every single day of my life, I'm reading. And there's been many, many days and months and years when I've read for 10 and 12 hours a day.
That's
Got through
crazy, bro.
thousands of books. Yeah, it's an enormous amount of information. To have the constitution to be able to do that, and in the early days, I had no idea why I was doing it. I was compelled to do it, to buy the oldest, dustiest books from any secondhand bookstore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
100 years old. If they weren't 100 years old, I weren't fucking interested in them.
That's why I got into Freemasons. I was just like, I saw a picture of them like all crowded around this book with gloves on, and it's just like, bro, what is in that book?
Yes,
And
yeah.
I emailed the guy. I was just like, yo, what's in the? I was like, I was straight to the point. I was like, what's in the book? And
So,
he was just like, oh, we do tours. I was like, bro, in the interest of being as direct as possible, I just want to know what's in the book and what it is. It
yeah.
turned out to be a KJV.
What, KJ? Oh, well,
KJV, King
King
James,
James,
yeah,
James,
version.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And I was just like, right, I'm on that. And that's when I started looking at the biblical stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's an absolutely fascinating world, and so at points through my day, something comes to mind, and it's kind of like everything is futile, because it is. Everything
Yeah,
is actually futile,
by
because
definition.
if you look at like I do, at all the so-called brilliant brains on the planet, when they are asked, "What do you know definitively?" they say, "I don't know anything definitively."
No, fuck all. Yeah, yeah.
We in science don't know anything definitively. We've got theories. That's all we've got. We've got theories about quite a few things.
Mm.
See, like Tom Campbell. Tom Campbell says, look, scientists, the human being, after all this time, only will acknowledge that they know a little bit about 4% of the cosmos. There's
Yeah.
96% of the cosmos which
They
they
know
label
nothing about.
as dark matter and dark energy. Why do they label it as dark matter and dark energy? Just to save a little bit of face rather than
It's
say
a cop
we
out. Yeah,
haven't got a fucking clue.
yeah. It's a cop out label, isn't it? Really,
It's
I
not
think
that
that.
label, but
Yeah,
it's dark energy and dark matter. In other
yeah.
words, we haven't got a clue. So if the
We don't know
human
what it
race
is. That's why it's dark. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
The human race only is starting to even get their heads a tiny little bit around 4%. Well, that says it all, doesn't it? And yet the
Mm.
audacity of humans think that they can know the nature of the
Yeah.
cosmos, and they do. And they know about this and that. They know nothing, because if you ask all these scientists, they'll tell you it's only theory. And all these theories are always being superseded,
Yeah,
embarrassingly.
yeah. Crazy.
And so then you know.
So the pursuit of knowledge is in fact futile as well. Then do you think?
Yeah, yeah. It's all futile. Everything's
But I
futile.
have to do it though.
Yes.
I can't not do it.
No, I can't.
Yeah,
But you
but you
see,
know it's futile.
we've got to do something.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
instance, what else is futile? Well, trying to keep young and strong, that's futile. But yet I do it every single day of my life.
Hmm, wow. Yeah, it's trying to reverse or trying to beat the inevitable, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, because I think it gives me some sort of appearance that I'm gaining maybe a little bit of longevity. But if I'm not gaining longevity, then at least I can feel a little bit more accomplished and comfortable with
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
myself now, and I won't feel embarrassed, and I won't feel a certain hate for myself because I've allowed myself to get into a level whereby I don't find it acceptable. No, and so when I look at myself in very fine shape, I'm accomplished, and I'm like, yes, Cosmos, thank you for giving me the energy. I'm still on it. I'm still on it. I'm 63 in a month's time. I'm fucking on it. And, I'm feeling really, really good. I've been marginally stronger in my life, but it's not a lot to me. I've never been heavier. I've never been more muscular than I am now. And kind of like, well, that's absurd. I weigh in now at like 88 kilos.
Yeah, bro, if I was doing that at like 63, I'd be fucking happy as a pig in shit. That'd be like kind of, you kind of um a lot of people don't make it to that age, do they?
No, and you see, I was presented with a compromise or with a decision. Ever since I was 50 years old, um, one of me, part of me, says, "Is that it then? Can we hang up the gloves?" And I'm like,
No.
"Let's just do one more year." And then at the end of that year, is that it then
So
now?
is this like touching on like kind of this Dolores Cannon kind of like thing where you choose how long you're alive for?
Well, I am. I most certainly am because I've always had this notion that I'm going to live to be 93 and I'm
93
never going to have a
exactly, huh?
serious illness.
I've heard you say that before. What gives you this 93? 9
Well,
and 3, is that the consciousness in the 3?
yeah, probably. That's just the intuitive
Subconsciously.
facet. You know, um, it's a bizarre thing, and so I have every confidence that that's going to manifest. And so, well, that seems then what keeps driving me on to keep in such condition because if I am going to be that old, well, I ain't going to be in pain. I ain't going to be suffering because I ain't going to want to be here if I am. And so, therefore, if I am going to be that old, well, I better be able bodied and,
Well, that's like a paradox in itself, isn't it? If you're like kind of not wanting to be here, then you won't.
yeah, yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. And so it's
Well,
kind of like it's written that I will be here. So it's kind of like, okay, well, the fucking best make sure that the body's in tip top shape then. So let us have the remainder of this conversation then, at least partially in that video today, where we're talking about negative energy because lots of people, needed that and it came at the right time in the comments and things like that. And so this whole thing whereby we go through our lives and we will pick up negative entities. So, what do you feel about that?
um, yeah. Can I just literally check on William for a second
Yeah,
and come back? I'll be 2 seconds. He's shouting with
tea
his
time.
friends.
I'm just going to go for a piss.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so negative entities that kind of latch onto us what, permanently or intermittently or
Well, some can. So, from watching that video, listening to that video, how did you relate to it?
so some of it was kind of like what I already kind of thought, that I already kind of had this idea that there is negative things, well, not even things. You said it yourself, vibrational frequency, that this stuff lowers you down to that, but like kind of like an entity that's like kind of latching onto your soul, as it were. I always thought of it as like some people call it demons, archons, whatever you want to call it, right? It doesn't really matter. But the I thought of it as these things, let's call them things, were like bodiless entities, like so lost souls in the cosmos, basically, that have
Mhm.
kind of just become degraded and like more miserable and more angry and more bitter until the point where they can't be born into a body.
Mhm.
So they're floating around in the ether somewhere, and what they do, because they're pissed off that they can't be born into a body, that's what they do. And they're like a self-replicating computer virus almost.
Yeah.
That's my thought on what these entities are.
Yes, and it's very feasible, and there's lots of people which have spoken about these sort of things.
Mm,
There's this book that I mention from time to time. It's called The Spirits Book, and it's conversations with a certain sect or organization, speaking with spirits, speaking with the unalive.
yeah.
And they have got an enormous amount of information, um, and asking questions about, well, what do they do and why do they do it? And basically the spirits say, well, look, we're no different to what you are there, only
Yeah.
we're ethereal. We have, some of us are benevolent and some of us are malevolent. Some of us are all bitter and twisted, and all this different sorts of
So there's
stuff.
actually good ones too.
Yeah, yeah. And it was the
Right,
good
right,
ones, apparently, which they were communicating and telling them all about it. So,
right.
w-
Obviously,
w-
because the quote unquote bad ones don't want to fucking know. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go on then.
And the bad ones maybe too busy being nefarious.
Yes.
But what I've learned in my life, going through many, many shifts in consciousness and in disposition, and personalities, is that these personality shifts have been driven by certain entities. Because I know that there are certain personalities within this thing which
Yeah.
aren't here now.
No, no, yeah, there have been for me in the past
Yeah.
where I've been. Can I say the C word on your channel? Can I do that?
Yeah, YouTube doesn't penalize us for that.
So yeah, I've been a horrible cunt in the
Mm,
past, like
yeah,
really bad, like
right.
and 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 be and being and what's the word when a parent disciplined. I've been disciplined by the universe,
Right.
almost sometimes instantaneously as well. Like not just like a couple of years down the line, I remember the error of my ways and
Yeah.
shit like that. Sometimes it's like bang, instantly, kind of this is not what we're doing here, and um, even to the point where this kind of me being disciplined led to the life that I'm in now with William and stuff like that. And if it wasn't for me kind of taking those lessons into account, then I probably wouldn't be here talking to you right now, Aaron.
Yeah. And so
Hmm.
therefore then you've turned something around because there's been something inside of you which the higher self, the spirit,
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
overruling the ego with all of the other entities. Now, in my book, there's a whole section about what I call gremlins. These are these negative energies which attach to us, and then also there's a part whereby I speak about our minds being like a home, and it says in the Bible,
A
uh,
vessel.
in God's kingdom there are many mansions.
Yes, yes, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, in God's kingdom, which is
This is the mansion.
yeah,
Yeah.
in God's kingdom is consciousness, and there's many mansions,
Hmm.
and so there's many places where we can abide,
Dwell.
um,
Yeah.
dwell, yeah,
Hmm.
and there are many dwellers within these places because we're not
Yeah.
alone.
No.
And so, what I say is that when we wake up to the fact that we have we have possessions. No doubt about it. There's possessions. Now let's just speak. Look, I say in the book, look, you can
You
take
mean
it.
possession in like an exorcism kind of way, yeah?
Well, yeah, I'm going to explain
Yeah, go on.
from whatever facet we can look at it. We can look at it and poo-poo that there's any such thing as spirits, right? If we want to immerse ourselves in the fiction that it's only a physical world and spirits don't exist because we're too terrified to acknowledge them, you see. But the fact of it is, okay, here's the thing then for all of you out there smoke. Do you think that's the God in you smoking? Or do you think it's a negative energy that's looking forward to your death? Simple, isn't it?
Oof. Ooh, that hits hard because I intermittently smoke.
Well, I mean, it's something that, that you got to bear in mind. Now, if people are heavy drinkers, if people are eating all bad stuff, if
Ugh.
people are doing a lot of things which just isn't conducive to life and vitality, are we to suppose that that is God acting through us or the devil
Fucking wow.
or demons?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Um
Because look, here's the thing. When I had my wake
fucking
up
hell.
call, I was a drinker, I was a smoker, I was a cocaine snorter, I was a prolific womanizer, I was arrogant as fuck.
How long do
Um,
you smoke for, Aaron?
um, ah, it went in spates on and off.
Yeah, same here.
Whenever I got involved with
Alcohol.
people and alcohol and women,
Mm.
and because when you're in the scene and you're wealthy, then you've got all the alcohol.
Mm.
Then it doesn't do it for you anymore. So then you start with the cigarettes. Then that doesn't do it for you anymore. So you start with the cocaine, and then you're doing everything like that. And then you want more sex, and you have more girls, and all the rest of it. And so you just you just you indulge into oblivion until in the end you are riddled with these demons. And
Yeah.
so the cocaine one was a demon, the womanizing one was a demon. Me and my mate in Bulgaria, we used to go to the hospital to have a AIDS test about every 2 weeks. It got pathetic.
Fucking
We,
hell.
we was embarrassed in the end after we went the fourth time. And the women were like, fucking you back again. What the fucking hell's wrong with you guys? Because we'd have the AIDS test and then we're like, oh, we're clear. And that night we'd be fucking again with prostitutes.
Oh, because you've got the all clear now, you
Yeah,
can go off and
yeah,
fucking
we'll
do
be
it
doing
again.
exactly the same thing, and it was just
Wow.
pathetic. Yeah, and then we'll be throwing the cocaine away in the morning, washing it down the toilet, and saying that we're not drinking anymore, and you know, but we was in a
How old were you
fraternity,
when this was going on?
45.
Fucking hell. So getting on, well, not getting on, but fucking hell.
Well, it's about 2 years before my spiritual awakening, so that was 16 years ago.
Right, right, right.
So this is
My thing was like well, at the moment it kind of still is, I'll admit it, is that when I was thinking about having a cigarette actually while I was on the call with you actually a few minutes
right.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was in the shop the other day and it's just like, oh, I don't often buy cigarettes and stuff, and it's like a lot of the times I give them to me, but so oh, they're the most expensive ones in the drawer. It's like fucking hell. It's like that the guilt is there. Do you know what I mean? She was that's some kind of entity trying to make me feel guilty. That's the
mm,
universe speaking to me, innit? You
yeah,
see what I mean?
yeah.
That's like some weird fucking because why would someone who's just fucking trying to get to the end of their work shift be bothered about how much I'm spending on fucking cigarettes? Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. So
So
your
it's like
conscience speaking out loud then via somebody
yeah,
else.
it was literally me speaking to me through another fucking person, dude.
Yeah,
I was just like, how?
yeah,
You see what I
exactly.
mean? And honestly, that this is like when like I said, I was in Tesco earlier, right? And I'm looking around, and it's just like this is all just like a scripted thing. This is not like a product of randomness in fucking entropy and complete, a ball spinning around the rock. You see what I mean? These kind of patterns, you wouldn't see them. They're just. I'm not sure how good are you into like game development at all, like procedural
Never
generation and
played
stuff
any
like
games
that.
in my life.
So you were saying that when you look at something, that when you look in the other
Yeah,
way, that it's kind of like not even there kind of
yeah,
thing. In game development, that's called occlusion culling. So basically, anything that's not in render distance or render view
yeah,
is not there,
yeah,
because the efficiency of the CPU needs to have as least processes as possible. You
yeah,
see what I mean? And if it's not kind of essential, then it gets cold,
yeah.
basically. And that's like kind of the way that I was looking at the universe recently. Is just like this is actually just all one thing, and it's not separate from me.
Yeah, well, so Tom Campbell, in his theory of everything, he speaks about, look, the average Joe look up at the night sky and go, oh, look at all those stars out there. And, there's a few planets around the stars, and probably, out there in those galaxies and those Milky Ways and other constellations and everything, there's millions of planets and this, that, and the other. And everyone will accept that they're looking at stars.
Mm.
Now, when does the concept of stars come into human parlance? You know,
Oh, relatively recently, actually,
relatively
yeah.
recently, yeah. And
In
how many
in
of us have actually seen a star?
oh, none of us.
And then when we look at the sun, well, somebody's told us that that's a star because they tell us it has nuclear fission and all this sort of stuff. So look, if you relate this to you being a computer programmer, you're building a game, you're
Yeah,
rendering all this stuff. Well, that's what's happened on Earth. It's been
yeah,
rendered. And now it's in the memory of all the people. But when we look up at the night sky, all we see is blackness and some white dots. We don't see stars. We don't see planets. We don't see any of that stuff. We're told they're there. And if we look maybe with a telescope, then we can see something which looks a little bit different to something else. But we don't know what that stuff is. The information has been rendered within our consciousness. And so then we project it onto the screen. It isn't there.
right, right. So by nature of you being told that it's a categorization, that you kind of project that categorization out
Yes.
again,
So
back
then if
again.
we bring it back down to planet Earth, we look up in the sky on a bright day in the daytime, and we see some clouds maybe, and we go, "Oh, they're clouds, and they're white, and they're fluffy." Well, what's cloud, white, and fluffy? Just 3 words. 3 words. What do
Yeah.
those words consist of? Just
They
letters.
they they only consist of what you interpret them as.
Yes.
Right,
Oh,
right, right, right,
that's like
right.
the code being written into a computer which builds Bart Simpson's nose, let's say. Now, when we look at a tree and we look at the difference between a tree and, let's
A
say,
shrub or
some
whatever.
grass, we
Yeah.
go, oh, that's grass down there, that's green grass, and there's a tree, and maybe that tree might have green leaves on it. Oh, and everybody knows what a tree is. Well, I mean, how long has the concept of a tree been in common parlance? I don't know, let's say maybe 5,000 years. But what was it before then? It wasn't anything. What is it to a monkey? What is it to a primate who doesn't have language?
Yeah, because they actually wow. Fucking hell.
So you see how we're rendering everything out of concepts.
Yes, of course. Wow. Such a it's such a difficult feat trying to put infinity into a box, isn't it, Aaron? Do you think that that's what we're trying to do?
Well, to me these days, because I've been into these places whereby I've entered into the nothingness, and I know that that is what my natural state is, because I can slip into the nothingness anytime, any place. And when I go into that nothingness, the world and Aaron and body and galaxy and cosmos, they all disappear. There's no trace of any thought about them at all. They're gone until I open my eyes and my consciousness collapses the probability, as in the double slit experiment, right? Our
Yeah,
consciousness
yeah, yeah.
collapses the probability.
It collapses it down by way of interacting with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A track popped into my head somewhere out there in the vast nothingness of space, which is Headhunters, Rock Civilization. But yeah, go on. You were talking about um, yeah, go on.
So, speaking about these entities, speaking about the house which they can dwell in. Well, the house is
Yeah,
your mind, and you've got rooms. And in your house, you let one out to the smoker, you let the other out to the drinker, you let the other out to the one that's probably spends too much time on porn. You let the other one out to the one that's always arguing
fucking
about your missus. You let the other one out to about who's condemning yourself, because when you stand in front of the mirror, you're kind of ashamed of yourself. And so you've got all this
fucking.
shit going on inside your mind. So what do we have to do? I spent 14 years evicting my illegal
How would you
squatters.
get rid of them?
You get rid of them by discipline, and you have to replace them with something else. So what you have to do, you have to recognize, you have to be absolutely brutally honest and recognize who and what the squatters are. Now, some of them may not be clear, but they'll become apparent in time, because some of them are kind of subtle and sneaky, right? But you
Mm,
can
mm.
recognize the obvious ones. Lazy bastard, okay, dead easy to recognize.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
one
yeah,
that's just eating for comfort, dead easy to recognize.
yeah,
The one
yeah,
that
yeah.
just wants to get out your head because you can't be bothered to face the world, dead easy to recognize. Okay, well, what are you going to do? Who are you going to replace them with? You're going to replace the fat bastard with the one that watches his diet. You're going to replace the lazy bastard with the one that gets out on the fucking track every day and goes to the gym. You're going to place the disinterested motherfucker with the one that reads for at least 1 hour every single day religiously.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so you do that, and I did this for years and years, and I'm still doing it now. This is why I'm pretty well a recluse. I don't have time
For
for all
other
this
people. Yeah,
bullshit out in the
yeah.
fucking world, because what they're
No.
gonna do, they're gonna want to bring me down.
Yeah, they're going to corrupt. That's what you were saying about it latching onto you and kind of being like a parasite almost. It's
Yes,
like that girl that we were out in the fucking in the Indian, remember?
yeah,
When she was just like giving me all this lip about being a parent and what have you.
yeah,
That's what it is. And I told you, Aaron, I was just like, that's what I'm dealing with, dude. Is these fucking demons or whatever you want to call them trying to bring me down to that lower.
yes. So
Yeah,
we have to recognize them all. And so there's the woman. She's prominent on the channel, and everyone will know who she is. And she's
Mandy.
no, I think I can say it because everyone's going to know who she is. Um, um,
Mandy Marlin, isn't it? I don't know.
no, it's
Is that a different one?
yeah, it's like don't fucking bring yourself down or some shit. Let's have a look. So, it's
Yeah, go
shocking,
and find it. Find it. Go
shocking
on.
how I've
Shout her out.
yeah.
Surely I must have seen a couple of comments by her
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Oh yeah, don't let them dull your sparkle.
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't let them dull your sparkle. Yeah, I've heard that name. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, well, she is on the road to recovery, but she's finding it really, really difficult. Lack of energy.
Recovery from what?
Oh, from life, I suppose. From life.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not inferring that she's crackhead or anything like that.
Oh no, no, no. I
But
wasn't.
but
I
but
wasn't trying to dig that
she's
out.
just
Yeah.
let her health slip away. She's let her purpose slip away. And so she's not as slim and as fit as she'd like to be, and she was. She's not been eating as healthy as she could. She's not been paying attention to the finer details of her home, keeping it spick and span and
So that's
orderly.
me basically.
It's when the mind goes, this is what happens. And so
Yeah.
this is what Carl Jung always used to say. Well, all you got to do is go into someone's house to see what their mind is like.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
what's
yeah.
my mind like? Well, you look, my place is pristine.
I've been in
Everything,
there. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
everything's got its place. It's like the natural world in my home. And so people have got people don't have any misconception what my mind's like. A fucking bookshelf full of fucking books, guitars, and a place in order, and shows a good deal of respect for nature and
Mm,
myself. So we look at our minds, and if we don't know what our minds, we don't know what's going on in our minds, and look at your home, then that tells you exactly what's going. If you've got
yeah.
clothes piled up in the fucking corner that have been there 6 months, that's what your fucking mind is, you know. And so,
Wow,
so what do?
wow.
You start to clean up the pile of shit in the corner of your room, because then that's going to be cleaning up shit in here. And by the time you've got your
Yes.
house in order, then you've got your diet in order, then you got your health in order with your regime, and then you're feeling pretty accomplished. Then you start getting down to a bit of philosophy or spirituality, and you start reading, and then you start meditating. By the time you're doing all this, you're on a roll, man. And you
Mm,
transform yourself. So
l-
every day I go to the gym 6 days a week, and I'm cycling 6 days a week as well, 7.5 miles. And I'm doing an 18-hour fast, and I'm minding my diet and everything like that. And I'm feeling really, really good. And I've still got the energy to go to the gym 6 days a week and to do that cycling and everything. And I'm on my feet all day long because I stand up, whether I'm on the computer or whether I'm playing my music, anything like that. And if it wasn't for I'm talking to you now, I would still be standing next to the
yeah,
computer,
yeah,
right? I don't sit down. And so if you keep that level of discipline, if you have a modicum of that level of discipline, you're going to make some improvements. But if you've got a demon within that absolutely strips you of your motivation and
yeah.
your tenacity and your self-respect, well, that's a powerful demon.
I was talking about it with a couple of witness friends that I've got the other day. It's just like so I was like going to the gym quite a lot uh like last month and stuff, and all of a sudden it seemed that that kind of motivation, I found myself laying in the bed and just kind of being a lazy bastard like you say, and it was just like whatever is going on here was trying to strip me of who I am. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like trying to invade who I am. And I think what I need to do tomorrow in the first instance is go to the gym first thing. I think that's that's probably the way to start it back up again. Because like years ago, I used to go to the gym religiously, but like now, it's just like since William was born, and I hate to keep. I say this to people. It's like since William was born. It's like I'm not blaming William, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
trying to blame William, but it's just like um just that kind of pattern of when that was actually, when that happened, that's when I stopped really kind of caring about myself, as it
yeah,
were.
yeah.
Maybe is that like a shift from me caring about myself to me caring about something else more
Yeah,
deeply, maybe?
yeah, possibly because as soon as we become parents, it does, radically changes,
Yeah.
in lots of realms. But we have to keep things real. And
Yeah, go
many
on.
years ago, when I was 20 years old, and I think maybe it was my 20th birthday. And with a few friends, and we're all saying, "Oh, what we're going to be like when we're 50, and this, that, and the other." And are we going to be rich? And and I said, look, I'm going to be rich in mind and body.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking right.
And I was on the road to good wealth, and I didn't like it. I didn't like who we had become. We'd become tyrants, and
Mm.
there wasn't anything good There was somebody that demanded the absolute utmost from everyone because I was running an operation which it ran like clockwork. It had to, and I wasn't taking any excuses. I wasn't taking any prisoners, and I had the attention to detail. And my staff used to say that I ran my company like the Third Reich. With all these documents and all these, everything was in perfect order, and I used to have them out on parade, with all their boots shined and their machine uniforms and all that.
Sorry, don't worry. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm listening. I'm just traveling. Sorry.
And so, doing all that different sorts of stuff, and so I thought to myself, well, look, there's something in me. There's a very, very disciplinarian character within me. But what happened is I transposed that onto my sister who was working for me, onto my wife who was, employed partially by me, and I employed family members as well, brothers to come out and help me. And
what was that? The removal stuff?
Yeah, I just demanded too much from everyone because that's what it needed. It needed to be. You see, it was like a military operation. When you've got vehicles and men, you've got logistics. And if you have got logistics, then you have to have timing. And if you don't have the timing and the precision, then it all falls to fucking pieces. It just does. If you don't get your truck like 150 miles away, there on time. If you don't take account of the traffic or a puncture or anything like that, if you don't get them there half an hour early so they're ready to go, they can eat their snap while they're sitting in the van. They're on wages, but get there early. So therefore, they're getting up early. They're leaving at 4:30, or something like that. And that level of precision, that's how it has to be. But there's not too many people that can function under that.
Whereabouts did you have this business?
In Leicester.
Leicester.
Yeah.
I can smoke on the channel, can
I? You smoke on the channel. So we're talking about demons, and then he comes down. He's got one in one hand and one in the other.
And one in the mind as well, because I'm thinking about what I'll be doing later as well.
Yeah, but there's a time and a place because I had them all, for many, many years, and it, if it wasn't for the fact that I didn't like who had become, and I had the egoic implosion, then I wouldn't have made all these realizations because the entities that were along for the journey within me, they were loving it. They were loving all the women. They were loving, all the coke and all the booze and all the high lives and, driving around in, posh Jaguars and, all that sort of stuff, wheeling and dealing in faraway lands. Who the fuck would go to Africa to develop property? Who would do that? It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. So is that them influencing you to like do those kind of things as well? Do you think?
Who?
What you quote unquote demons and what have you?
Well, yeah, you see, if you're in a nightclub and you've had enough drink because you're drinking, it's not working anymore.
No.
Then you get some cheap coke, which is cut with so much shit that you snort that and snort that and snort that, and that doesn't work anymore. And so then cigarettes are going around. You just keep smoking, endlessly because you want to get a buzz, and then that doesn't work anymore. And it's kind of like, well, nothing.
Eventually, it's like it gets boring, kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like I've quit these a few times now. For years, and only in the past sort of couple of months when I'm getting into this kind of deep into like I was saying earlier, like evidence of it being actually a simulation and stuff, that it starts to come back. It's like as soon as when I start to encroach on some kind of a change or an answer or something, bang, it's back.
Wow. Hmm.
It's like a leash that kind of tries to rein me back in, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's curious because I think I started smoking when I was in Bulgaria because I was hanging out with these sort of people which were very wealthy,
How old were you
um,
then?
about 45, 47, that sort of age. Uh,
Started smoking at 45.
Yeah. Oh, mate,
Fucking
yeah, I
hell.
used to smoke weed when I was 20, then I had 20
Right.
years off, and, so I had 20 years, not smoking, and then when I was in the nightclubs and everything, then just want a bit more buzz and a bit more buzz, and, so and then, when you're with people, they're always passing around the cigarettes, and, we
Yeah.
say to ourselves, "Oh,
It's
look, this
like the
cocaine
norm, isn't it?
yeah, this cocaine's just shit, let's not fucking do it." But then at the end of the night, one of us in the group is gonna go and get it. And then it's like, got some coke, who wants it? And of course you all want it. And
So I've never
so
been into like the Coke thing, but it's always just like cigarettes and alcohol for me, kind of thing.
yeah.
Bit of weed in my past, but I started smoking pretty young though. I remember stealing cigarettes off my mum when I was like in the first years of secondary school, and I always used to, you've got like this foil at the back of a cigarette pack.
Yeah.
It's like so. I don't know if I've got one here. It's like I would fold that bit back and steal one out of the back of the pack. Anyway,
Right,
she got wise to it because I was selling them. They were 50p each when I was at school, a
right.
cigarette. So it
Yeah,
was like I would sell some of the cigarettes to make some money for like some, a bit of lunch or whatever,
yeah.
a bit of break time food. And I remember she came back one day and she was just, she threw a packet of cigarettes at me and said, "You're going to sit there and smoke all of them." Mm, hmm.
Wow.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember feeling sick as well.
Mm,
And here's the thing: I'll still do it today. I'll get pissed and smoke a full fucking box of cigarettes in a night,
right.
which is not healthy, is it? Fucking hell.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination, I do need to quit.
Yeah. Well, when I did smoke, I used to, like, smoke, like, 2 a day or
Oh yeah. Oh no, I can do two a day, and I can do none a day. It's like it's a choice to me. Like through the day today, I wasn't smoking at all,
Mm.
but only on the evenings, like after. You see what I mean? It's
Yeah.
only like a kind of afterthought thing. Is the whole smoking thing like?
Yeah. So all these demons, in my book, I say, look, we can be speaking about metaphor here, or we can be speaking about reality. You decide what you want it to be, because it's horses for courses, and there's not too many people that are deep enough into this spiritual realm to accept that there are actually spirits. It's called the spiritual awakening because we actually
For a
take
reason,
on
yeah.
spirit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And
you
that's
know,
like where I got into it. It was like I noticed that there is more. I've said it to you before that there's more going on here than what would meet the normal eye. I think
oh,
that's an Alan Watts saying, isn't it? There's more to reality than meets the normal eye.
everything is just it's Maya. Every single thing is just Maya. It's just complete and utter illusion and delusion. And if you want to ask me about anything, then I can break it all down into nothing within an instant. And so, therefore, there is there's a philosophy called accelerationists. And so
Right.
these accelerationists, they're like, look, it's all going to end in tears. So let's get on with it, shall we? Let's stop fucking around and let's get on with it. So this is kind of like my philosophy.
Accelerating towards a certain uh
Entropy.
almost like the way that you described it in that tripartite.
Yeah.
What was the term that you used? The About
Oh,
that
the
philosophy.
Hegelian dialectic.
Yes, yes. So it all is that, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it. it seems that there, look, Freud used to say that humanity has something called Thanatos. Thanatos is taken from the Greek, which
Thanos,
means
yeah.
death wish, and so he reckoned that unconsciously everybody has a death wish. And this is
Fucking hell.
why it's so easy to slip into these things that are not healthy. And you look around, the vast majority of people, they're doing these things that are not healthy. The ones that are really fighters, then they'll fight it and fight it and fight it. But probably ultimately, it's going to get everyone, because come a day when you're just too old to be able to do all this physical stuff, it's kind of like, well, fuck it then. May as well drink and fucking smoke. Everybody here, all these old folk, they're drinking and smoking.
Yeah, I've seen the videos where they're sat around with like a
Yeah, at least
wine
not
and
all of
stuff.
them smoking, but they're all drinking. And it's kind of like, well, what else we're going to do?
Oh, there's so much more to do, man.
Well,
I mean,
there is for some people, but these people, they've never educated themselves, and so they don't know what's available. It's never actually sprung to mind.
it's like they've
And
signed off before they've even signed on, kind of thing, isn't it?
yeah, it just wasn't their remit this time round. Um,
Fucking hell.
they were going to go through life with a very, very limited vocabulary, probably never ever leaving the country, marrying one woman. The guy that lives down below me, he married the first woman he fucked,
Fucking hell.
and that's all he's had. And he was with her for about 40 years. Then he divorced, and now he's never bothered again. One woman.
It's a bit of a sad. He's probably going to watch this or something, isn't he? Yeah, I
Nah,
don't really want. Oh, okay.
nobody knows what I do in this block.
Oh, right.
So when we look then, like this woman, speaking, desperately trying to, reclaim her youth and vitality. I think that's probably what it is. She remembers, what she had and what she could do, and she's less than 40, and so she's still young. Uh, and it just depends on what negative forces you're presented with. And then she's saying that I'm so tired, I'm just so exhausted, and I just don't know why. And I'm like, I know why, because you're carrying all these negative energies,
Mm.
so you got to
Mm.
start cleaning house.
So it's like an effort to carry them with you.
Yeah, they bring
So
you
it's like
down. They're a drain, man, because they
quite
make you just stay in bed. They make you drink too much. They make you smoke. They make you eat shit. They make you be lazy, and all this different
by
sort of stuff.
definition, it's like kind of they are the parasite then.
Yeah.
Mm. Wow.
And so when you look at the whole concepts of devils and angels, I mean, these concepts have been around forever for a very
Yeah.
good reason. Because thinkers have recognized them in themselves. So I'm reading this Marcus Aurelius book, and that was written in about 157, something like that. So almost 2,000 years ago. And from what I gather, the human constitution was exactly the same. We're all fighting with the same things. And so he says, look, we could get up every day disgruntled and annoyed with most people around us. We could say something to them, we could upset them, and then they'll pass it on, and then there'll be friction, and nothing good is going to come out of that. Or we could just wake up with a calm disposition and just a level of acceptance. And if you can actually nurture a little bit of kindness, well, look at the world that you're going to be creating instead of the other way around.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, exactly. That's the whole thing with me and William. Is like kind of. I was told by a Hindu mystic that I manifested William, and I truly kind of know that that is the truth, because
Mm.
without me kind of uh, having this like thought in the back of my mind that a child could be born like so it takes two to tango, when you're having sex and what have you. It's
Yeah.
like I kind of had it in the back of my mind that was going to be the outcome, and lo and behold, it happened as well.
Mm.
So it's just like, and but if I'd have gone down the path of like me carrying on being a little tearaway kind of thing, then that wouldn't have happened, and the very opposite of what I'm doing now with him is it would have manifested. You see what I mean? Like how it wouldn't be me trying to guard something that's pure. It would be me trying to guard something that's impure, as in like myself. You see what I mean? It would be me trying to kind of protect, like, because I mean, I always came up with like excuses as to why I do things. It's like, oh, I'm smoking because of this, or I'm drinking because of that. You see what I mean? So it's like me trying to protect the negative part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So it would have been quite the opposite. I don't know, even though I've just been smoking just now, but there is still a massive part of me that is like devoted to this kid.
Mm.
You see what I mean? Um,
Yeah, so okay, so you're devoted to your son, and that's obviously a good thing. Well, it doesn't mean to say that you've got to neglect yourself,
mm,
because
yeah,
obviously at this stage of your life, you're only a young man. Um, be wise to invest in his future, which is your health.
my health. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow.
Because
Yeah.
in no time at all, it's all caught up with us, like 15,
Boom.
20 years of booze and cigs has caught up with us,
Fucking
and then all of
hell.
a sudden, you're 50 years old, and it's kinda like you're well old before your time, and it's kinda like, "How did they get here?" Well, lack of vision and too many excuses.
Fucking hell. Emperor Palpatine said that in the Star Wars films. He was just like, "You'll pay for your lack of vision." That
Right.
popped into my head as soon as he said that, and I'm
Mm,
not sure if you're familiar with that, eh?
no.
So that's where the name comes from. My username, Yodings, as in
Ah,
Yoda in the Star Wars film.
right,
But that also came back from the Yod Hey Vav Hey, which I've called myself in this one,
right.
which is the Tetragrammaton, which is the name for God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hmm. So I was thinking that I could do much more rudimentary videos, which people they all seem to need because what I'm doing these days it's at my level of comprehension, and of course I've travelled the path, and so that's why I comprehend it because it is me, it's my journey, it's my essence, it's everything that I am. But other people they haven't travelled the journey, so that they're lacking the comprehension.
Yeah, so they don't know where it's
No,
going, kind of
then
thing.
that's why there's no comments. That's why there's no affinity. That's why there's no interest to hold conversations about this stuff. It's just too wacky and it's too out there, and it's too advanced for the vast majority of people because it takes a long, long time to acquire a level of insight and experience. But most people, they would just appreciate the rudimentaries, like, just really explicitly explaining that if you are doing shit which to be negative, then just consider it a demon. And it doesn't have to be biblical, and it doesn't have to be
No,
too woo woo, because at the end of the day, you just got to ask yourself very reasonable, very logical questions. Like I said to you, is it God that's making you smoke? Is it that most benevolent and the highest that's making you smoke?
no, of course not.
No. And so, therefore, then it's obvious, isn't it? And then people say, yeah, well, I'm stressed and they alleviate my stress. No, they don't. Cigarettes do not alleviate stress. In actual
No.
fact, they make your heart beat faster.
Yes.
They increase the anxiety in your body. You've got 2,000
The
carcinogens
blood vessel
in your body.
constricting. Yeah.
Yeah, everything is going
Yeah.
wrong, and I've never
It's
understood
fucking
why
horrible.
people think it's calming and soothing and beneficial, relieves stress in any shape or form. As soon as you take a cigarette, your body starts to panic because it's
Yeah.
inhaling poison. So your heart
Yeah.
rate goes up, you get anxious,
Absolutely.
anxiety, and all different sorts of hell's going on inside your body and your brain.
Like literally instantly. Like sometimes, like in the past few years, I'd smoke a bit of a joint or whatever, and it's just like I'm pacing around the house. Trying to breathe, like doing breathing exercises, pacing around the house, finding myself like not able to concentrate and stuff. And that's literally the body saying, this isn't great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
yet we come up with all different sorts of excuses,
Yeah. Excuses. As
and every, incessant weed smoker, they're all gonna tell you that, "Oh, I couldn't live without this, and, it's super relaxing and the insights I get." No, 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 no. It's been
it's
proven
all
time and time
bollocks.
again.
Yeah.
You're in a state of delusion. Now and again, marijuana, yeah, it can flip your brain into some different thoughts, but constant use just dulls the mind.
Yes, I was watching a video on that actually when I emailed you about if you wanted to do this meet or not. It's like a guy that is explaining that cannabis probably used to be sacred in terms of what it can offer people, but
Yeah.
it's just been modernized into the point where it's just greed fucking changing the genus of the plant in order to make it, more potent, more sellable, more
Yeah.
you see what I mean,
Well, it's
easily,
changed so much these
yeah,
days.
easier to grow and stuff like that. So it's actually the fall that is kind of added to what the plant in a negative way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember, when I was starting out 18, 20, me and all my mates, we'd do it every weekend. It'd always be, we'd go out with a few beers here and there, then we'd end up back at one of our flats, and, the spliffs would come out and the cans would come out from the fridge. And most times we never even bother going out. We just used to go around someone's house, enjoy
Yeah,
our own
exactly.
company
Yeah.
and get stoned without any bother poking their nose in. And, back in the day, we had Lebanese hash, we had black, resin.
Yeah.
Then we had the regular Sensimelia, which was always very light and laughy and all that. But then through the years, it got stronger and stronger. And you just get more and more in a stupor. And so I smoked it after not having it for 20 years. I smoked half a joint, and
But it blew your mind, huh?
well, it blew my mind, and I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
I couldn't move, and I just had to lie down. This was in the woods near me, and then I was stumbling all around, and I got some good insights and visions, and I had some, cool things. Half a
Yeah.
spliff of weed, and then I didn't smoke it again for another about 10 years, and I had a half a spliff of resin, and then I was paralyzed for 3 hours.
That's
Absolutely
crazy.
paralyzed. The only thing that could move was my eye. That's all in the book, by the way. All that stuff's in the book. And so yeah, and I thought somebody in Bulgaria, they gave me a spliff, some guy that was doing some work for me, and I thought I'll try it. I tried it. I had only a couple of draws on it like that. I couldn't sleep all through the night. Just paranoid,
The fuck.
stupid shit going. My mind wouldn't rest. It was just horrible. And I'm like, I don't know what's happened to this shit anymore, but it ain't good. And most
Well,
certainly it's not
that's
conducive to me.
the high quantity THC stuff, which is just insane.
Yeah.
There's actually an even more demonic, even more like kind of worse. There's a worse one than that now called THCP,
Mhm.
where the molecule elongates itself in a way that actually fits into your brain's cannabinoid receptors even better, almost like a lock and a key.
Right.
And that it's 30 times stronger than THC.
Oh
It's crazy.
wow.
Hang on, hang on. Right. This stuff is absolutely wild, dude. This stuff would have you uh in a box. This
Wow. Would they?
wow.
They look really
Oh,
strong, are they?
oof, bro, I swear to God, right? I can't eat a full one because it just
Right.
has me in bed for days, right? And I give this to people. So a couple of people, right? One's my next door neighbor, and one's this lad that I speak to in Birmingham, right? And they can just eat the fucking full suite and just not even be bothered by it. I'm just like, are you even real? Like, how is this not? Because for me, it's like all frontal lobe. I'm like fucking in bed, like completely incapacitated, like a zombie almost, just kind
Mm.
of like awake but asleep at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these guys are like, oh yeah, just eat a couple of them. I'm like, wow. I was thinking to myself, are these people like they're NPCs? They're not. They can't even be
Yeah,
real
yeah.
people.
So, a friend of mine, he gave me a little bit of resin because he used to smoke it every day for 40 years. And so I had a little bit off of him and I rolled it into a little joint and I smoked half of it. And this is the one that paralyzed me for 3 whole hours. But it gave me such powers of perception, and all the
Yeah,
details are in the book, whereby I could just ask my consciousness to take me into the future and into the past, and
bang,
miraculously,
you were
I was
there. Yeah,
there,
I remember you saying about that.
absolutely
Yeah,
crystal clear. And I said to my mate the next day what my experience was, and he's like, "Wow, I ain't never seen nothing in 40 years."
that's crazy, bro. Um, Yeah, I'd give you one of them gummies if you want, but I tell you that they are not. I have a little sliver of it cut off, and that'll do me. Like
Yeah.
people that eat a full one, they're not even human, dude. They're not
So
even real.
I've got a friend of mine that's going to give me MDMA
Oh yeah,
lollipops. Someone makes
wow,
MDMA lollipops, and he said that he had one, and it made him feel fantastic, and there's no negative side effects the next day. So I said, I'll have that because I've never done MDMA, and I've always wanted to try. But recently,
never
I
done it.
did no. I did
Magical.
yeah, I like to experience that, and the
The
reason why I've never
empathy
done it is
is.
because I've heard too many stories about feeling like shit the next day or the next 2
Oh
days.
yeah, no. What no, I often thought it was like the same feeling but in the opposite direction.
Mm,
So it's the same as coming up, but in the opposite direction. It's
yeah.
so weird. But what that stuff will do is fucking ruin your ability to feel good without it.
Ah,
It ruins empathy as well. Like so when MDMA is like kicking in, you'll be in this like empathetic state where you like can reason with anything, everything, and not have any kind of like negative connotations towards it. But when I have used it for quite a long time actually, and it made it so. That's why I was on these what are they called? SSRIs or whatever you. Yeah,
SSRIs.
yeah. I stopped them as well, so I've actually overcome that as well. So
Right.
mm. Not great. Great at the time, but
Mm,
not great for longevity in terms of whole brain structure. Definitely not.
yeah. So recently I did that acid tab, and I did the 2.5 grams of shrooms, and then I did the DMT, and I was on kratom and beer at the same time. And I thought, well,
When you were
I'm
out in the meadows and stuff.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna do it now. And I had one tab of acid. I had these mushrooms from the fall, and I had some DMT. And I thought, well, I'm just gonna do it all. And then I don't know whether I would be too interested. I'll be interested in 5-MeO DMT. I'd be interested in some more DMT next year in the summer. Acid tab, I can't see the point in that. it just gives me this stupid feeling that everything is love, and I know it's fucking not, because it's just a chemical in my brain,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Well, that's what
that's
it
what
is.
it
Yeah,
does, and it's kind of like I don't believe it. This is the whole thing about the flower power. Oh, it's love, love, love. No, it's not. It's just a fucking chemical. It's just hitting the
yeah.
serotonin
Yeah, yeah. It's
transmitters,
just
and that's all it
blocking,
fucking did.
either inhibiting or blocking certain receptors, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think at your age, MDMA wouldn't be that much of a problem, but when I was taking it, I was like young and stuff, so it had an effect on the brain.
yeah.
I think when you've like kind of in a place of security within yourself, I don't think it would be that much of a problem, especially
No.
if you don't abuse it.
Yeah,
Then I don't. Yeah,
this person's got to go out of his way to see this person he knows to get one of these lollipops, and we're both, well, he's 50 something and I'm 60 something. I just don't imagine I'm going to be craving freaking
no.
MDMA. I'm
No, you
already in
wouldn't.
MDMA. You
It's
know,
not like a drug that you get addicted to. It's
yeah.
more like the kind of atmosphere. It was the social aspect for me.
Well, that
That
won't work with me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, that'll go straight over you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it was kind of like being accepted. You see what I
Right.
mean? So I take
Right.
that just because everyone else did, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's all different sorts of psychological things that play when you're young and when you're out with your mates and all that. The social
Teenage years. Yeah.
acceptance, and and yeah, all that stuff. So, well, 2 hours and 15 minutes. So best we start to wrap up this. Is
Yeah.
there anything that you want to kind of like finish off with the last 10 minutes or so?
Um,
I think the most poignant thing to come out of this conversation is that we really do focus on these entities, and we actually give them the greatest of respect, and we stop making excuses for them,
yeah. Yeah.
because it's
To
them
carry
that's
them. Yeah.
yeah, because it's them that's making the excuses. But you see, the whole thing about the spiritual awakening, when you wake up spiritually, they don't have the power to override
This
your
is yeah.
spirit. Your spirit says, "Hey, enough."
This is what the Apocryphon of John was speaking about.
Right.
Do you know that?
The
You've
secret
read
book of
that?
John. Yeah,
Sorry?
the secret
Yeah,
book of
yeah.
John. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So and the same in the Pistis as well, where it's just like well, Ike goes on about it, doesn't he? Where these kind of archons, you it's not a case of like kind of defeating them as such. It's like slipping past them. You see what I mean? You kind of elusive, and that's what I was saying when I said to you when I arrived at yours. I was like, I don't really make any plans because plans can easily be foiled. You see what I
Mhm.
mean? And it's like if I've got that kind of plan in my mind, then whatever it is that's out there can kind of see what's going on and be like, right, well, we'll do this and this and this. That's
Yeah,
why I meander off motorways and stuff. And when I was on my way back from yours, I found that all of the motorways, I'm not kidding you, that I was trying to get down back to Devon via, were all closed and it was just like, would that have been the same if I'd have just carried on all the way down, kind of thing? You see what I mean? Like it was like there was indications that I'd kind of made the right choice to kind of slip by whatever was
right.
going on those
Uh-huh.
stretches of road. You see what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
If that
Avoid,
makes any weird sense.
yeah, those hellish ley lines.
Yes.
So, well, if anyone's got this far in this video, and anyone that thinks that's a useful subject, then I can speak on that more. And it's kind of like it should be something that the therapists are all speaking about. It should be something called like house cleaning, because how many people do we know that have got issues in the mind and they're on SSRIs and they've got anxiety, and they can't cope, and they're too exhausted, and oh goodness me, all these things. And then it snowballs because when they're too busy at work and they're feeling like, what's the point? And then they start the old beer or the cigs or something else, and then they're too tired and don't feel like they've got the energy to waste on going to the gym, and so it just goes down.
Yeah,
And
spiral.
this is the the negative defeating spiral of society unless you're very very strong, and you keep on top of it and you gain awareness. You got to be aware of the pitfalls of what's going on.
Yeah, of course. I was going to ask, what are you busy tomorrow?
Well, in the daytime, or
Well, just in general, like busy tomorrow.
well, I mean, every day is pretty well the same. I've got my animals to tend to. I've got the gym, my cycling, my music, um, making videos, and all that different sort of hedonistic stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you were open to it, I'd pop up with me and William and walk the dog or something.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, fine, no problem at all.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. I'll get the mini out and hopefully it still works.
Well, so
Fucking
we
thing.
can go one of these beautiful national parks then.
Yeah, yeah. I'll get the mini out in the morning and see what we can do.
So,
Stick the dog in the back.
didn't we go last time? We went up to one of the parks last time, didn't we?
No, that was no. It was just the Indian, wasn't it? Where that
Yeah, just the Indian. So who did I go? Oh, it must have been Brett I'm thinking about with the dog and stuff like that. Yeah, so
Yeah,
well,
mate. Yeah, you were out in some kind of wooded
yeah,
area.
well, we'll go up there, the beautiful park then, mate. It's absolutely
Y-
wonderful.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
your doggy will love it, and so yeah, we'll do that. Just let me know when you're on your way then.
Yeah, I'll do that, and yeah. Um, yeah, there shouldn't be any reason why it can't make it that far again. The thing is, it's one of these older kind of John Cooper works. It's not the newer one, so it's like kind of at the mercy of, well, its own age, really. So, yeah, we'll see. I was in the Z3 the other day, and it's just like I had this weird thing where in the back corner of the car, it's like making this weird rubbing noise. It's like
Right.
zzz, as it's raining and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I thought it was something metal rubbing against something metal. Anyway, I was driving along from the petrol station back home the other day. The tire went flat on that back corner. I
Right.
was like, "Oh Christ, it's starting to catch up with it now." And what had happened is so these roads are kind of like in the flint. There's a lot of flint in Devon, so
Mm,
you'll be driving along a road and there'll be like rocks of flint in the
yeah.
road and stuff
Right.
like that. One of them had flung up and knocked the wheel arch out of its like
Oh
alignment,
yeah, yeah. The
and it
plastic
was the
one.
wheel arch, the plastic wheel arch that was rubbing on the tire for months, and I
Right.
just brushed it off as like, oh, it'll be fine. I thought it was like maybe the differential was running out of oil or something, and it
Right.
was the plastic wheel arch that was rubbing on this tire for months and had worn it down. I'll send you a picture, and it's
Wow.
worn a groove in the tire and obviously gone down to the threads and then burst through the threads, and then
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So,
man.
so is that a piece of plastic? Yeah, was like yeah the cause of that one. But luckily, I've got spare Z3. Um, what are they? Wheels and tires.
Mm,
So I was able to just get a mate to give me a lift to where it was, and then swap it out, and then
right.
hopefully, yeah, no, I'll
Well,
I'll
the moral of that
nail the wheel
story is,
arch back up, and then yeah,
yeah, when you hear something like that, get out and see if you can discern what actually is going on. That's something that I've always been a stickler for. I've got to find the reason. what if there's a drip, if there's a tick, if there's a knock, I've got to find it because
Yeah.
it's
Why it is, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I just got to know.
If I'd have done that as an exercise 2 months ago, then I wouldn't have had the problem of being almost stranded. And I can only imagine, like, because I drive miles in these cars, like hundreds of
Mm,
miles, and like I could have been in fucking Land's End or somewhere and
mm,
had that happen to the tire, and it was just like only by chance was I just around the corner
yeah,
for it
yeah.
to, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
the gods were looking out for you that day, my friend.
Fucking right. They definitely have my best interest at heart most of, well, some of the time, I think, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Oh, that's good then. All right, so you give me a text tomorrow then. Let me know what your plans are then, and
Yeah, right, well, I'll do that. All
yeah.
right, mate.
Alrighty. Have a good night. See you in a
Peace,
bit,
Aaron,
mate.
man. Peace
Ciao.
out, dude.
See you in a bit.
Peace.